Hello everyone, welcome to another restoration project. I managed to buy this, it's a Teac X-7. It's not the X-7R, so it's not the auto reverse version, it's just the single direction one. And I bought this reel-to-reel machine for a price I could not pass up. And I've always wanted to work on one of these. And reel-to-reel machine. I did have a Pioneer. I think it was a 1020L, RT 1020L. I think it was reel-to-reel, which I did some work on. So I'm not totally new to reel-to-reels, but it was basically a belt change, cleaning out the the heads and the pinch rollers and all that kind of stuff. Very basic stuff. This one is requiring a little more help. And what it had was the sticky pinch roller syndrome. So what that usually means is sticky grease syndrome from the mechanism. When you hit the play button, activates a solenoid, I believe, that throws the pinch rollers up against to move the tape up against the heads. And it was all very, very sticky. So unfortunately, I just decided to videotape this, so I'm a little bit further along than normally when I start, which is, with a full-up unit. But all I've really done is I've unscrewed the case. I took the case out temporarily just to have a look inside. Right now it's just sitting inside. I've taken some of the shrouds off and basically the pinch rollers, which it took me a while to figure out how to take these things off. They just basically sit on here like that, and I kind of thought it just pulled out as an assembly, but it's actually quite simple. You just unscrew this top cap, just screws in there, which holds it in, and you unscrew it and then pull this out, and then we'll do some rubber renew on the pinch rollers. There's some little fine washers in here that you shouldn't lose. So I've got everything in my little parts bin from disassembling, including the screws and the shroud screws, the feet from the unit, and of course the front shroud that covers everything as a dust cover to make it all look beautiful. So was able to rewind. We also have a very slow motor on the side here, so it could be one of two things is what I'm understanding from some of the research I've been doing. It can either be the brake is not fully disengaging, which is slowing down the motor, or it could actually be the motor itself. It gets all gummed up inside with grease. So we'll try the brake fix first. If that doesn't work, then we'll have to strip things down a little deeper and rip that motor out, and then open up the can and basically clean the commutator and all that kind of stuff. So that's where we're at. So I've basically stripped this down so far, and I've got this one little lever that holds the right side pinch roller up, and this was just a sticky gummy mess. So what I did was I popped that out, and I've used a number of Q-tips and isopropyl alcohol to clean out all the gumminess. There's a little washer that pops out from this little assembly down here, but now you can feel the assembly is moving. So what I'll do is I'll put some Gatus grease on it. I like this grease because it doesn't dry out like many of the modern greases do. This is highly recommended actually for working on dual turntables. It's kind of spec'd for working on the metal-on-metal mechanisms that are in the dual turntables, and I've been very successful with it. So we'll use that as the sort of the grease for inside there, just to make things not scratchy when it's going metal on metal. So it's nice to have a nice little layer of clean grease on there. So that's what we're going to do. To make this video not quite as long as my other ones, what I may do is do a bit of hyperlapse or time-lapse videography here, just to prevent it from getting too boring, but of course you always have that fast forward slider there. I tend to get long-winded in some of these. So yeah, let's proceed. Okay, there I've disassembled it. I've re-greased the metal-on-metal roller locations. Put some rubber renew on the tires. Screwed these caps back on. Also put there's a bridge bar that goes across here. If you rewind the video, you can see me putting that in. And made sure that as you can see, before if I push that up it would stick, and now it's so I cleaned everything in with isopropyl alcohol, cleaned it all out like nice shiny clean metal, and then I put grease in the appropriate metal on metal locations, and got this nice and free spinning. So now we're going to just do a little test here and just see if could also be the solenoid, because when I was pushing play it was so stuck it wasn't actually engaging the play. So if I hold these strain relief wheels here, maybe we can get some action going here. So let's turn it on. Power's up. You can see the VUs jump. That's to be expected. And if we hold these things up, now look at that. Now the pinch roller is, both pinch rollers are spinning, so it's working as expected. Perfect. Yeah, so the disassembly is the same as reassembly, it's just a reverse order, obviously. We'll clean up all of the, still a little bit of marks and stuff here, but we can clean up. It's really in good shape. But now, so if I hit the rewind, it's push and play, stop. Yeah, you can see that one is just really sluggish. This one was before it was working. I don't know why it's not spinning now. It's a little bit tight there. These might have to be adjusted. Yeah, it was moving there, so. Oh, knocking my grease over here. My Gatus grease. I'll put the cap on. Anyway, I've got some work to do on the motors here, it looks like. It's weird because I was actually getting that to spin. Those are your rewind motors, I think. Anyway, we'll take that apart, but I got that assembly working good, which is good. Both capstans are spinning quite good here. There we go. As soon as you activate these things, the capstan pins start moving, and then once you move the pinch rollers up on the capstans, the pinch rollers are moving. With the rubber renew, they seem to be gripping quite well. So So that's good. More to follow. Well, you may have seen me using this here in the video, and that's just spray isopropyl alcohol. It's 99.9% pure, so I use that just for spritzing on the end of my Q-tips and everything. I did get a little grease here, so on the front of the cover here, so we'll use that to just right by the pitch control knob here. We don't want to have grease sitting there on this. And we've got some dirty spots on this pinch roller cover. There we go. Just some old finger marks, I think, from days gone by that need to come off. There we go. So there we have it. We've got at least the pinch roller assembly working, which is a known issue with these, but you can see now that it's moving very fluidly. So very happy with that. I might have this because I got this cover on loose. It might be bunging something up there, but could be the brake not liking to be in that position. So let's get the back off and we'll start working on getting these motors up and running. So now I've got it taped up here. So I've got the tape on the left side, take-up reel on the right-hand side. You power it on. You see the VU meters go. You have a listen. You can actually hear the capstan motors going, and that's a big dollar item. When you power it up and you listen to it, you don't hear that capstan motor going. So you can see the capstan spinning here, which is good because they're under tension. This one's stiff, so I'm thinking it's the brake that's on. So I don't know if I can disengage the brake here. Let's see if we push play, what happens. Yeah, as I thought. Take it under pressure. Yeah. If I rewind it, no, nothing. This one was working, and now all of a sudden it's not. So, I don't know what's going on there. Yep, we need to dig into that more. So I'm going to put the cover here on, and then we'll put it on its face, and then we will try to have a look at these motors. Now that should, by pushing these down, that should disengage the brakes. So I don't think it's the brakes. You can see that loosens the brakes. You can feel that motor pulling, but it's jammed somehow. Maybe the plates need adjusting. So, more to follow. very interesting. When I put these motor caps on for the hubs, and it looks like somebody's put some spacers in here. And I have a feeling there's supposed to be because when this is in, it looks like it's right up to the face, which could cause some, you can see some scratching here on the faceplate. So I got a feeling somebody had taken this apart, and there's supposed to be a spacer or something in here. Maybe they lost it, or it was shredded. Anyway, I'll have to go back and into the manual and find out if there's actually supposed to be a spacer in there. So it looks like 3 sheets, 3 circles that have been cut out to make room, obviously make space for the screws that hold it in. So let's see what this other one looks like. So yeah, interesting. Let's see if this one maybe has the proper spacer, or maybe this one doesn't have a spacer at all. I'm gonna have to download the manual for this for sure, just to see what the parts list shows. Likely I won't be able to get the part, but I'll have to, at least I'll know that there is supposed to be something in there. There's 3 screws in each. There we go. Yeah, this one has space, same thing. This one has 2 pieces of paper, that one has 3. See the brake assembly there. You can see the solenoid for the brake assembly. So we're going to have to take this board off. And lay this down flat, which I want to put some padding down so I don't damage the front face on this thing at all. And see if we can start getting into the guts of this thing. I want to put these off to the side so I don't get those mucked up. Now those definitely have to come out anyway. Let's see. Oh yeah. Those brakes are definitely on. This one seems to be more fluid in its motion than this one, which is the one that was sticking. This one is actually fast forwarding and spinning really good, but I think that brake might be holding onto it, even though when I let go. Okay, more to follow. All right, what I did here, I'll turn it around hopefully so you can see it a little bit better, is I took photos of this just to make sure I get the wires in the right order of all of these connectors here. And so I've pulled all of those out so I can get this board free of this, which I need to lift this assembly up here in order to get these motors out. judging by some of the videos that I've watched. So there's three posts there. So there's at least 3 bolts here, 3 bolts there, possibly 4 or 5 more. The transformer is plugged to this, and we'll probably have to lift this, take this belt off. The belt looks like it's in good shape, and might have to take this little assembly out to make space to get at the gizzets there. And because this is not an auto reverse machine, it's only got one of these little pegs that go in here, so I can probably pull that one out, and then move the motors out, and then pull the motors apart one by one. Have a look at the brake assembly, because I can only see the brake assembly from this side. I can't take the faceplate off because there's too much hardware that's wired to it. So the faceplate coming off is a non-starter just because of everything that's bolted to it. So yeah, this looks like it's going to be an interesting one. Oh, there's 4 bolts there. So 4, and then this should lift out if I pull this. I think that's the counter reset button, I believe. Yeah, counter reset button. And that's your counter motor. I believe that's what that is. Yeah. So there. So we can pull that assembly out fairly easily. Take the belt off, and then this other relay kind of contraption. Okay, I think I'm going to go walk the dog now, and then be back and with a fresh mind on this one. Okay, I got the back off. I've taken some photos here. So what I may do is pull out another couple of these wires here just to make it easier and accessible. And what I'm going to do is pull out this counter reset button right here. See what that'll do. There we go. And that pulls out. That's your counter reset button. Bring that over there. And there's a little circlip in there to pull that unit out, I feel. So I'm going to pull the belt off here. Pull that off. See what that, I don't even know where that goes around. I think it goes around the hub here. And then there's a circlip that needs to come off in order to get this little prod thing out here. Let's see, that brings the pinch rollers in. The mechanism to pull the pinch rollers in. Okay. All right, let's go in hyperlapse here again. Okay, I got the motor out, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to unscrew these two end caps here, hopefully pull this plate out, pull this whole assembly out, and see how gunky it is in there. And apparently if we clean the commutator out, then we should be in business. So I'm going to do that with this one first so I don't mix up the parts. You have to take this off. Now what's going to be critical is when we put this thing back on that we get the right height, because that's going to determine how evenly the hub is lined up with the heads. So if it's too far out, it'll put torque on it and will probably slip off, or if it's too far in, it'll rub on the faceplate. So I think when they put it back together again, whoever, if they did, may have bunged up putting this in proper alignment, and that's why they had to put those spacers in. Still haven't got the manual, but anyway, it seems to be pretty gummy there, so maybe that'll, if I clean that up inside, maybe that'll work a little bit better. So here we go. These three are for that, and then those three are in there. There should be 6. Although that's for that case, and then I think the 3 and 3 are for that part there. So just want to keep an eye on where all my screws are going here. There we go. Ooh. There's no doubt where those screws go. You can see where the marks are, that they were right in the middle of that. There we go. And then we take this out. That goes in there. It's like a spring. That's a bearing. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean all of that up and put oil on it, probably a light machine oil instead of a grease. It's a bit dirty. So we need to keep an eye on these little washers that come off to make sure they go back on the same order. It's not terribly dirty. You can see some dirt on there, but it's not terribly dirty. That's okay. There. This is the part where it gets really dirty, is right in there. And I'm looking at a lot of gunk. That's about the third one. You can see how much gunk has come off that. So I'm hitting it with F5 fader lube to give it some lubricating effect, as well as contact cleaning, to get this whole arrangement, because that's where it makes the contacts with these brushes here. There's a little plastic piece that broke free and was maybe jamming things up a bit in there, so I've pulled that out. So hopefully this will make a difference. And I think that may be what was causing it not to energize the coil properly. So clean that out, and I'm betting this thing will have a lot more torque. So the other thing is to make sure that these are properly cleaned. See the dirt on them. Yeah, lots of dirt coming off those little contacts there. So you just got to be really gentle with them. Not too abrasive. Hit it with some cleaner. And hopefully that will do it. Interesting. Yeah, look at all that dirt that's coming off of these things on both ends. So it is quite gummed up in there. And I got another one here. Okay. There's this little square rubber thing right there that was in there, but I have no idea. You can't really see anywhere where it was. It was just kind of sitting here. So I'm not sure if that's too important, but I'll keep it just in case I have to take it apart again. Get another clean in here. Yeah, that's really gummed up. Okay. So that's the part right there. You can see that was almost all black. And I've cleaned it, so now it's clean, and you can see still stuff coming off of it. So that just kind of gets dirty and gross over time. So the better you clean that, the more it's going to last, I believe. So the idea is to also get this properly lined back up, not force it. There we go. And make sure that we put the bits back in the right order. Now that bearing seems to be spinning real good with the fader lube, you get some lubrication in there, which is good. Now, we got to get this lined up. With the holes. I should have marked it. There we go. That's how it goes. Okay, now there's only one way this thing lines up, with 2 holes, and that's the way right there. So now you're going to be able to see daylight through them right there. So if you look through, you can actually see daylight, and that's when you know they're lined up. If you get one in, no, we're not quite on. There we go. got it. We got it. Okay. Now, we're going to put this back in, and with the cable up, we will see, hopefully, these holes line up. This is where it's helpful having a magnetic screwdriver. So you can get them lined up without losing the screws. And then the third one, and hopefully, look at all the, so those are all, that's not all of them, I threw a couple of these away already, but you can see that's how much gunk I pulled out of the motor on each end of those. And that's not all of them, I threw some away like I say. So, one more screw here. Now that motor is free spinning and it's nice and smooth. That's your brake assembly. Pretty sophisticated, this thing. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is get this in here around the brake. This is the tricky part. Get it to feed through that brake assembly. I might have to, there we go. You open it up and then it'll fit in. So dropping that actually opens up the brake band around it. And then what we want to do is have that probably, this is the hard part, is getting this lined up properly. I want it that might need a bit of monkeying with. You don't want to over tighten these, you don't want to strip them, but you don't want them loose and have them shake and rattle. So you got to find a delicate balance between. Now that looks like it might be a little bit further out, but that's probably the width of what I needed because of those inserts in there. I think that's going to be good. So now we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to loosen the two screws off on here, pull this assembly out. You can loosen the brake this way, and then pull this out, and then unscrew those 3 bolts, pull the motor out, and we're going to do the same thing and clean that motor as well. So Let's do it. And I can see this one is way too far in. Now I've moved this one out a bit, and hopefully that's going to be limit the problem what they had with the scratching on the front of the panel. I think they were pushed too far in. So I'm sure there's probably a measurement, and again I'm going to go and read the manual before I reassemble this. And there might be an actual distance here that is optimum for, there's that belt, the other end of that belt. So the other critical part of this one is the belt that goes around the tape counter, goes around this. So you got to make sure that goes back on when we reassemble it. Interesting. Interesting. I like it. It's a good setup. Okay, so now we're going to pull out these 3 motor mount screws. There's one. This will be a better show because I think I did this on time lapse previously. So this will show you how the motors come out. So you do have to take this assembly all out. There's a little insert where this magnet actually fires the capstans up into the not the capstans, the pinch rollers up into the heads. So there we go. 3 bolts, and then this one should be totally loose. And now we're going to have to shift this all because I don't have a lot of play, as much play in the lines as I did here. And here's that belt that needs to go around that post in there, and we'll, from that point, how far is the center? Yeah, around that post and then around this. Okay. This one seems to be spinning better than the other one. But nevertheless, I'm sure it's dirty now that we've got it apart. It would be stupid not to try to clean that. This time I'm going to try and clean that part without completely disassembling. Hopefully with this one I can see where that other plastic bit goes. I might have to tear the other one apart again, or if that's this piece that's not really needed, because I can't really see a place where it actually goes. It's a little rectangular rubber piece. Oh, there goes the cap. You can see that it goes the same way. This goes in. This one does not have the 2 nylon washers. Oh yeah, it does. I put the nylon washers on backwards on that one. Got to take it apart. See, the nylon washers go where the coils are. So interesting. Interesting. Oh, it's not as dirty. But nevertheless, I think this one's okay. It doesn't have any black on it at all. Okay. I do have to take that other one apart. There we go. There we go. That's our lineup. I need backlighting. There it is. Really hard to get this lined up. So anyway, I'm going to go back on hyperlapse. This is taking too long. Okay, I got to take this this other motor apart back again, just because I realized that there's a little bearing in there with two washers, and I put it on top of the bearing instead of underneath between that and the coils. So if I don't do that, then it's not going to function correctly. So good thing we have two motors, and you take them apart and you can see where you made your mistake if you don't have the manual right there in front of you to guide you through it. So now that I've got this down pat, it's not going to be as hard. We just have to reverse our steps here. So I'll just loosen this brake rotor assembly, pop the brake, and then this pops out, and then 3 screws. Move this out here so it's out of the way. I tell you, the people that build these things, they're geniuses. Being able to line all of these things up properly, and this is all probably in the days before PC computing, so I don't know how they did it back then. They're just geniuses. Okay, so we don't really have to take it as far apart. We just need to get that that front assembly apart and reverse the washers and the bearing. Hopefully you can see this. You're getting a good appreciation of how these motors come apart. I'm just going to hopefully hold this in place while I do the flip-flop. That was the ring. That was the 2 washers. These are the 2 washers that are not in the right order. There's a thicker one and a thinner one. Actually 3 washers. We'll put them all in there. Maybe there's supposed to be one on each side, but I don't think so. There we go. And now I drop the, there it is, a little spring O-ring. I'm thinking one of those goes on that side. Ouch. makes sense. Okay. There we go. You gotta be patient to do this stuff, that's for sure. Okay, now get this motor back in. I'll just make sure they're just snug. There. Pretty sure that's how it went. Okay, now we just have to put back everything in the right order, not forgetting to put that belt on in the proper location. First, before I do that, I'm going to go online, get the manual, have a look at the drawings, make sure everything is in the order in which it was supposed to come off. I'm hoping I can get a reading on what the distance is from this plate to here that this rotor is supposed to be on, or this hub is supposed to be from the back plate, because that way you'll get the proper standoff distance for the hub from the front face of the player. There we go. That spins freely. That spins freely. Nice. Okay. Now this is the tricky part. that's what I screwed up. I should have put that rotor on there. Okay, I put this on too soon because this needs to go in there. So I need to take this one off again. Learning a lot, that's for sure. So that's going to go off on that direction when that's flipped up horizontally. So we need to put this in here like that. There we go. Okay. And then there's this bullet piece here that sticks in to this in the bottom here, so you got to make sure that's on the pin there. And when we place it in, I'm going to put that pin on right now, that C-clamp, whatever you call it. Be easier to do it while this is off than when it's on. I have a habit of losing these things. They tend to spring. So hopefully we don't lose it. No. Sucker. All right, I've got it all reassembled correctly, I hope. I don't know if these are going to be totally balanced or not, but it's a starting point. We might have to adjust at some point here. You can do it through there, which is with a long Phillips if I need to, if it even works. So let's see if all that labor was for nothing. So power on. Just make sure I don't have any dangling wires. Power on. Ooh, that's not a good sign. Oh yeah, I'm hearing it. And they're spinning. Look at that. That's way more than I expected. Let's see if we can do a tape here. Wow. I'm totally excited. And let's put a tape on here. I may still have to adjust this though, just because these may not go down the track properly. They may be too far out, so I might have to adjust these. Let's see what happens. Well, didn't have it locked in good enough. I'm getting some VUs going. Yeah, this one's too far out, so I'm going to take those spacers out, and I think that might do it. This one seems to be right on. I got varying output, but I don't know what's recorded on this, so I don't know whether... There we go. I got the transport working. That's as best as I can hope for. Anyway, let's I'll do some playing with the recording and everything, but and I do have to adjust this because it's a little bit twisted here, and I think it's sticking a little bit too far out, and that's causing it to twist a bit. So I think if I take this hub off and take those 3 spacers out, it'll push it closer in, and it'll actually be sitting on these rails properly. You can see it's just slowly, well, now it looks pretty straight, but we'll try it without. A little on the slow side for the rewind. Fast forward is good. It's farther than I had hoped to get. So the rewind is a little sluggish, so we might have to go back in on that motor. I think this tape is a little bit heavy. Well, we're further along than I was before, so I think we got some dialing in to do still. In the meantime, I'm going to play with the spacing here. This one's way further out than this one. So if I do this, that one goes quick. So I think it might be the tape being a sticky tape. It's really thick, gritty kind of tape on this. So it might even be the tape, because you see, look at that spin. It has lots of torque. Same with this. That's got lots of torque. Like I can hardly stop it with my thumb. So right now I think we're talking dialing things in. So good news. Okay, that's I just took these spacers out of this one, and I think it's going to be a closer end. This one also, I might do the same thing. I don't think those things belong in there, quite honestly. So we're going to take those out. I think somebody did not know how to properly adjust the height, so they used the spacers to get them away from the faceplate, and I think that's incorrect, because they look like a pretty buckshy job. So somebody didn't know what they were really doing, I don't think. So I'm going to do that. And then I think what I want to do is clean up the tape path, because I think there could be a lot of friction there that's causing, and that's common with old sticky tape, because this is ancient tape, so it may not be that good, because I'm getting lots of torque out of this motor. So the only thing that's the only tape I got with the thing, so I don't really have any tapes around. I might have one in the garage stuffed away. See, look at these spacers they put in them, and they don't look right. So that one had 2, this one had 3. So I think somebody was trying to compensate, as I mentioned, for the faceplate, and they didn't know that there was those 2 adjustment screws on the hubs on the inside that can actually move them forward and aft. So let's see what we can do. And then I need to put sound to it to see if the heads are good. That's that one. That one. And that one. Free flowing, not rubbing or not scraping on either of the on the faceplate like I think it was previously. There we go. And let's do a little bit of cleanup here. So, use some isopropyl alcohol, scrub the tape path here. Yeah, as I thought, it's pretty dirty. Lots of old goop on there. no idea how many hours on this thing either. Didn't get any kind of history on it. So that's the trouble. It doesn't look like the heads were worn though all that badly. You could have seen, I think earlier in the video, I took some photos or some videos of what the head condition was like. I've already cleaned this path out. I just haven't done these rollers here yet. You can see a bit of on there. This is a quick and dirty clean job. I'm going to probably do a better job of polishing it. You can see a bit of grossness on there. There we go. There's a little bit of debris on there for sure. Okay, let's try this again. Maybe I need to adjust the brakes too. That's a possibility. Might be fighting the brakes. So what I'll do is I'll push down on the brakes here and see if that's what's happening. Okay. Yeah, really thick old tape, eh? Okay, bias, EQ, tape, source, line output. And the other thing I got to do is I got to hit these, I hit all these switches with some contact cleaner as well as these pots yet. Should have done that when it was off, but oh well, live and learn. I can still take that part off and do that. Okay, we're going to clean the pots too. Yeah, it's running straighter. And that brake is acting on it. Oh, I guess I should have let the brake go. That was my fault. In a big way. Now, let's see. Oh, that wasn't good. It went on the inside of the... There we go. So I'm going to loosen the brake off somehow. Okay, I'm just playing with settings. Obviously, I got to readjust the brakes on this thing. Let's get this back. Okay, this is where I am so far, and I think this is kind of where I'm going to end the tape, because I do have a little bit more work to do to get this thing up and running, and I may not have a bit of time in the near future to do it, so we'll probably put some of this into abeyance. But here's where I'm at. So we've got it powered up. You can see the little bump in the VUs, and we actually had a change in the VU meters on the input side. So what I'll do is I've got this Walkman here. I didn't have any other players handy, so I just plugged into I got a little bit of a Walkman collection, so I just plugged this one in because it's got batteries and I know it works. And so I've got that into the input line in for recording, and then I've got this little speaker back here. It's a Sony speaker. There's a mini jack line in that I go to 2 RCAs, so the output goes to the line in, and the sound will come out of that speaker there. I was doing a lot of the testing with my headphones here, but I just wanted to show for the demonstration purposes of this recording that yes, I'm getting sound out of the deck. Now, a couple of things that I notice is when this thing plays, this thing is right up there usually. It kind of sticks, so I might have to get in there and clean that a bit, I think. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be quite that sticky. This one does too, and it's linked to that one, it looks like. So when I move this, the two move together. That's probably supposed to do that. Anyway, so I've got it on source right now. So we'll push play. And then of course I can change the output there. And I've got the line recording levels here, or the source recording levels. So what I can do is I'll put it on record. I've got it on high speed. And we'll switch to tape. The tape isn't burning quite as hot as the source signal, and when I'm recording, this level shows not much, but I'm actually getting stereo. Like through the headphones, I'm getting equal volume through each VU meter, and this one seems to be more reactive than this one. There we go. And when I go to source, it just pins it there. So I don't know, there's some sort of calibration probably that needs to happen there, and it may be beyond my capability. So if I do that, so you can see there is a distinct there's not much volume change between going from source to monitor, so it's somewhere in the circuitry that it's either maybe the VUs are sticking, which I don't think so, because when I'm on source they react pretty good. So I think might be the input board or something like that. I might need to recap or do some things, but like I say, sound level doesn't change. It's just the way the VU meters. So I'm gonna have to go look at the schematics and find out what's in that path when I'm in record mode. And so here you actually hear it from the tape. So it's sounding pretty good. I mean, I probably have a little bit more cleaning of the heads and all that kind of stuff to do. And this is a really old, crappy tape that's been recorded on probably a dozen million times. So I would like to reserve judgment that it's not recording well until I actually put a decent tape through it. Because really, this is all I got with the machine was this empty reel and this old crappy tape. So the other thing we're at is rewind seems to be, or fast forward seems to work fairly well. Not super well, but if I disengage the brake up here, especially this one, I think this one is the brake is biting a bit. So see how I disengage the brake, see how much it speeds up? So I've got to adjust those brakes somehow. And so stop, play. That's all been fixed up. That's a previous recording I made last night after the tape there. So once again, if I hit rewind and I release the brake on this more, so there's got to be a way of, I don't know how to actually loosen off the brake so when it's in play or rewind mode or fast forward mode that it takes the brake all the way off. So there must be some way of adjusting the unit to take the brake entirely off. So I think the brake the motor is fighting the brake a little bit. And when you push play, notice how this take-up tensioner here just goes all the way to the far end, whereas this one is more in the middle. So maybe that's another adjustment that needs to happen. I think these are all minor things because mechanically that motor seems to have a lot of pull on it. So does that motor after I rip them apart and clean them, which you'll see in the previous videos of this. And so everything seems to be good. I'm going to take this back panel off again here. And I'm going to try and get into some of these controls. Some of these were a bit staticky, this line would, but I hit it with some fader lube, basically. And now you can hear that there's no static. Well, you can see that there's no static or anything in that anymore. And that's this cassette deck, which is still running, by the way. Yeah, so... and of course you stop because we're on the source, and then that's tape. So if I was recording, that's it. And then if I hear stop, there you go. So I think I've made a lot of headway on this thing, and I don't know. I'm just not sure that I want to invest in a whole bunch of tapes and all that stuff. So I may just go this far and maybe sell it to somebody more interested in reel-to-reels than myself. This one fell into my lap, so I just thought I would, have a go at it, because I've fixed up a lot of cassettes and a lot of amps and preamps, and this is my first, second reel-to-reel, because I did a 1020 belt change and cleaned out all the contacts on an old RT 1020, I think it was, L or something, Pioneer, and got that one working really good. But this one is my first, literally it was broken, nothing working. These were not engaging. The motors were stiff, and then somebody had actually gone in and put some spacers in there, so I've re-spaced the hubs on here, and now I don't need the spacer. These are the Buckshy spacers that were on it, and those are just the case screws. So I'm going to put it all together again, probably sit on a closet for a while until I get some time to play with it, because I've got a few other projects on the go. About 3 other preamps that I've got to get rebuilt for friends and stuff. So there we have it. A Teac X-7. This is not the X-7R, so it's not auto reverse. It's just the bare bones one directional. But you know, inside it was actually in really good nick. So this might make somebody happy one day who's a reel-to-reel aficionado, unlike myself. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions or any actual suggestions, because I don't profess to be an expert in any of this, on how maybe I can get some of those issues sorted out, I would be love to hear them. So use the comments, and I try to get back to everybody that has constructive comments, or destructive if my video is that bad. I know these are long, but I sometimes get people upset that I use too much hyperlapse, because they want to see each and every detail, but then these videos get super long. So I gotta strike a balance between that. So thank you very much for watching. Cheers.